The Christians do forcible conversion as well, and it's the same concept as the Muslims convert or die, and it's quite difficult in short term. But I've heard of people being threatened with a knife through the head if they don't convert to Christianity, and they do teach them, but they're just as bad. The Christians are just as bad as the Muslims. You must remember that. We're human beings first, and I agree with the humanitarian aid, but it's just a war. It's a war between two opponent sides, and I don't agree with the violence of the Muslims in this case in this war they're having, and they're terrifying people. It's the wrong way to go about it. Killing the enemies antagonises them. You shouldn't do it. So it's not a good idea. So they're going about it the wrong way. And that will cause their defeat. Islam got strong through being peaceful, and that's the important thing. And Islam is rooted in peace. A lot of what the Muslims do is to maintain peace with its neighbours and so on. So that's important. And they don't eat certain types of meat in the way it's killed, because blood in the meat makes people aggressive, and that's important. So the way it's killed makes a difference to the blood in it, and that's important for preserving peace. And if they do go to war, they eat a meal of raw steak, so make them aggressive. That's over years. We don't do blood prisoners. We respond to blood, test of blood. So that's fine. But the Christians do kill people, and the Christians have attempted to kill me several times for the same reason. So far they haven't succeeded, but it's only a question of time. And I say it's right on better. And England's a pretty good place, and I'm glad I'm here. Compared with Europe, Europe is a disaster, and it's because they're socialists as well. Socialism scores you. And food distribution in Hungary is awful, because the city, Budapest, is not well supplied with food. I mean, there is food if you can afford it, but a friend of ours would bring the food in. There is food in the country, so that's the problem. It's all bread, and you get fortified bread with egg in it, you know. And it was explained to me by this Hungarian woman who was at work. She wouldn't get it. She refused to work with her friends on what's it called, a biotech company, which they were starting. I'm not quite sure why, but I think it was because she was a socialist. I know she didn't say so, and that's pretty bad. So he turned down a job opportunity because he was brainwashed to be socialist, and that's a bad thing to do. But it may not be. I don't know, maybe it was the wrong job. And then I spoke to her about her enterprise, and it did appear she's had to pal up with her friends again, and may try to rescind that problem. She's quite a nice young lady, and she's a new graduate. She was at an MSc, so she spent 5 years at college, and such people don't usually get out of work. A lot of people like that start businesses in other countries, and they should do it. I think they do in Hungary as well. And it is going over to free enterprise, but it's a difficult transition, and want more of it. Because you can have companies that are not run by graduates. You can have food companies, for example, where they need to know how to have clean fingers and so on, hygiene, but sandwich makers and so on, you can have that. I used to have them. And I had a problem with this country with Mr. Wilson, actually. He wrecked the economy. And some of us were brought up by Mr. Wilson, but I mean, he had a lot of ideas, but he meant well, but he was bad. And, of course, we have other socialists. Mr. Blair wasn't really a socialist, you know, but I mean, I thought one time I did think socialism was a good idea, but I've realised by seeing disasters that socialism causes that it isn't. It's free enterprise that creates wealth, freedom. And you don't want slaves. I mean, a lot of British people are very much like no ones to be slaves, and that's wrong. And that's wrong. We need free enterprise, we need freedom, generally. And well, that's my opinion. And we're human beings first. I'll be honest. And seeing people suffering hurts. Some people aren't hurted by it. And that's really bad. Anyway, I know what's happened to my wife, no idea. I think she must be alright because she hasn't known me, but I've got no money, I can't send her any. And I'm hoping there is the bus ticket is she can't use a bus until the 28th of August, but she's got a long time to wait without food or shelter, so hopefully she'll be sheltered. I've asked people who care for my money to look after her, and because she's married to me, I remember when I was married on the 27th of December 2006 in Second Cathedral, and so she should be able to get British citizenship, and she's in a bad way. You know, the job she had over there was dreadful. It was not suitable for young, small people. George is very small, and Lion very slight, so she's not very strong. And she's athletic, but not strong. And so that's swimming that very well. But she's a bit past it now. She's past. I don't think she's postmenopausal yet, but she's getting on that way. And so she's not what she used to be when she was young, when she was 20 or 19, and she's suffered an awful lot. And well, we can see that. Some of the hands of men, basically, but also politics and warfare. That's pretty bad. And warfare, you see, killing people antagonizes people, antagonizes the enemy, which makes things worse. And the other thing I should say really is that the First World War was a result of an argument between two cousins about a toss of golf. That's what it was. There was no reason for the First World War. And I don't want to say what war was a mess too. And it appears that it was fought on the wrong principles. Hitler didn't intend the bad things he did the first. I don't know what happened. Something happened to him. But it's possible somebody damaged his brain. That's what happened to Stalin. You know, wasn't it Stalin? Lenin had his brain damaged by a bullet, and that made him a savage. So statesmen who get brain damage should not be statesmen, and that should apply to all countries. Separately. America's a good place, you know. But bad people in America too. We have discussions, you know, at the university whether criminal behaviour is inherited or not, you know, whether, and it partly is. It appears it's due to damage up here somewhere. Damage around here. I think the Americans CT scanned of a number of people, and they had a control sample, but it looked like the people with damage to this part of the brain were actually criminals. And so they do in British psychiatric prisons, they do put a T-piece metal in here so I can twist it around, destroy one of the brain. And that turns people into really abusive, horrible people. It doesn't benefit them at all. And it's not a good idea. So these things done by the British. And they're Christians, it's done for Christian reasons. I don't know. There's no reason for it. But there's no benefit at all. Sometimes they put a knife through the side of the head at the side. And that cuts off on the brain. And that does change personality. But it does also make people very silly, and they're probably unconscious. So it's not good. You can't tell if you're consciousness or not. But sometimes there's how bad the damage is. The damage of frontal lobe is bad. That's a pseudoscience. And they tranquilize people, poison the brain. None of those things do any good. For good reason. And you can. Unless the brain is damaged, sometimes we have tumours in the brain, that's to be removed or a cyst, or a worm, all sorts of things that get into the brain, like the liver. And that needs to be dealt with. Sometimes surgery is necessary. There is another thing called an nematode worm you get from a dog or a cat, which will swell up inside the brain. It can go up in the lungs as well, of course, in the heart, but it swells up in the ventricle in the brain, and that causes problems. And it's easily removed. You put a syringe through here into the ventricle and get into the worm, which is a big ball of fluid, and you push it into that, suck it, invert so the worm comes into the syringe, pull the syringe out, and the person is cured, just like that. You need to do it twice. I think there are 4 ventricles in the brain. In the back one's for blindness, front one's of course what is bad behaviour, insanity and stupidity. And it was awful. And I've seen it happen. And one time they didn't know what to do, but it is known how to do it now. And that's something you can do. And it can't happen to anybody who has a cat or a dog. So best thing to do is not have cats or dogs or other domestic pets, because they have these nematode worms which don't hurt the cat or the dog. They're in the gut. And if you get them in you eat them, or you ingest them in your fingers, and you eat. That's it. So children should not be allowed to play with cats. There are benefits from playing with cats or dogs, but that's not one of them. And Edith does play a lot with dogs, so she could have got one of those in the head, one of a shrapnel wound. But there's certainly a wound in her skull, and there's a shrapnel something in the head. But it's not there now because it's removed, so the person has improved. And but I think most of the person said it was distress caused by circumstance. It's difficult to tell, you know. And I did apply to be the governor of this prison. They do write me letters in to me to meetings, and discuss things, but not as a governor. But I write back, but I can't really go there to this. It's really just stressful to go to this prison, and prisons they poison you, because I might get, because the Royal Chancellery go through the gates, they could catch me, but they could anyway come out here. But somebody rang up, I think they said, there's anathema to God living here. That means somebody's a religion, I don't. I'm Muslim. But, so they do, the Christians do the same thing as the Muslims. They're quite the same, but they're pretty bad. I was told it was discovered around 600 AD that damage that part of the brain, if you do it properly, stops them understanding, so they cannot resist the church teachers. They can be mouth to mouth it. So they're not really people anymore. So it's an evil world, and they do it for money. I don't know what the Muslims convert people do, but it's the wrong thing to do. Forcible conversion is the wrong thing to do. Certainly with brain surgery, and certainly by shooting people, it's wrong. And the only antenna is because of trouble. And it will lead to the defeat of this ISIS people, whatever they call themselves, and was easy violence. And then people will return with violence. But not everybody in Iraq disagrees with the Islamic State. It's called a caliphate. There was a caliphate back then, and it wasn't an Islamic State, which extended all the way to Spain. And it was more advanced than we had, the Christians had. The Muslims preserved knowledge which was passed on to the Christians later on. And the Christians don't want the knowledge, because it makes people not believe their religion. and that of course has cost them money, and they don't like the idea they will die. And I don't think the Muslims believe that they're immortal. I don't know. Some do, some don't, but it's what some which can't prove it. But most Muslims, as they say that life can exist anywhere in the universe, and God can make life anywhere. They do have this life of God, but God is not provable, it isn't provable, so can't prove it. But immortality is pretty impossible. People might survive some other way for a while, but not forever. And I mean, they can have nice sport machines or brains and all sorts of things, but you can't live forever. And that's the rule, so you can't escape it. Now, I was the same. I was deluded into thinking I was immortal by the Christians that brainwashed me. And it was nice to have that belief, because I was seeing death, I changed my mind. And it makes a difference. Edith's experience with the empty grave is of great significance. Not to me, because I knew the X-rays were empty, but to a child, she was a child in Christianity because she hadn't experienced it. The priest told her basically that the dead were still there waiting to be resurrected, but they're not. They're dead. They don't exist anymore. And I told her that, and when she watched the baby come back. But I think actually I really seem to remember when this baby died. I did get there because he dismembered. He took the head off. I could have an arm. So I posted it to donate. It was in a bicycle container, reduced temperature, and asked them to make a new one. And they sent it back. Edith said she got a baby back in the post, not a parcel, but it was delivered by the postman, and it was arrived. And she had a baby, but her nurse wouldn't accept it. The baby couldn't come back to life, so she couldn't look after it, and that was a problem. But they hadn't heard of Clonate. Clonate is able to do that. They discovered it. It was discovered by another scientist who was vilified for it, but he was an old man when he told me, realised it was true, and it's possible to do it. In fact, we actually generated some embryos, human embryos from skin, to widows at a science school, and they were growing in a petri dish. Well, my colleague at the time was a friend at the time, and she don't live with me, but she was a friend. Jenny decided to flush him down the sink, which is for right, petri dish. The next stage is to implant it. So that was the problem, but of course that is possible to do that. Human embryos are fairly easy to make, and of course they don't have people talking about it, so Clonate will do that. And of course the French don't like it, all sorts of people don't like it because they're Catholics. Well, it's a new life. It's not the same person come back because the person, you can't revive the personality because that's in the brain which is learning. But the personality is there because it's heritage to some extent. But there's no point, well, old people, this idea of these people is that you can transfer the personality into the new body. But we can't do that yet. But they might be able to one day. And but that's the idea. That's how they think the aliens got immortality. We all have to. I sort of do a machine, but replacing the brain with a machine and then have backups and so on. But it won't last forever. Nothing does. The universe itself won't last forever. But, and of course, galaxies collide and galaxies explode, and suns explode. Our sun will destroy enough on Earth eventually. I don't know how long it will take, but it was not forever. Nothing is forever. As the Scientology Church teach that processes occur, and the process starts, runs for a while, and stops. That's it. And life is the same as a process. That's the talk of the Scientology Church, and so all this rubbish about aliens and volcanoes, all rubbish. They're not a science fiction story like that, but they're not what we believe. See, the man who founded science, he made loads of money out of science fiction, and that's how it is. But he used it to generate this version of this, and it's quite kind. But he thought that people could not live without thinking they were immortal, and that's and this bloke came and forced me to believe I was immortal. It's sickness. It's causing sickness. It's not good for me. We die, and that's it. It's a sad world. And fighting antagonists as the enemies That makes it worse. And I know why SS was. War against Hitler was because he discovered aliens, I think, and he hadn't paid his reparations or that either. But they said he challenged the British King to a duel. And of course he said something that the Queen disagreed with, that caused a duel. And I'm never told what that duel was caused by, and I realised what it was. And it's absolutely awful. But of course, people jumped in and joined in the response. But the whole world was involved, and well, they thought, well, that's what happens. First World War was also necessary. Nuclear weapons make it difficult to fight wars now. But they get smaller. Anyway, so warfare will go on forever, and men may have gone for a while, but the planet will destroy, weren't there? If we get off the planet, it will last longer. But there's nothing lasts forever. The human race will die. And if it goes to other planets, it will change. The human race will mutate and change. So the different places where men go will look different. And be different. The race will become incompatible with each other genetically. They can't marry. But anyway, these Islamic ministers are doomed to failure because they're violent. Hopefully they may, but if they succeed, they'll set up an Islamic state that extends the whole of Islam. That's the idea, the whole of Islam. And it will extend to this country and other countries. Do remember that the laws they have are the same as the Christians. Sharia law is the same. They don't always apply it, and the nasties of prison are from civilized times. But anyway, that's how it is. And the punishment for murder is death, basically. I don't actually agree with it because murder is often sick or they've been hurt, and so there are reasons for it. And in the Bible it has reasons for killing people. The Bible is a good book to read, and it's the same information as in the Islamic teachings because they're based on the same information. And so a lot of Muslims don't know the same people are involved in the Christian Bible, which comes from the Jews, and the Jews have the same basic thing. The New Testament is it's about an alien visitation, basically, and he wants to make the world a better place, and it didn't make much difference, basically. And people used his philosophy themselves. See, Paul was the agent of Caiaphas and the emperor, and he destroyed Christianity as teachers taught by Jesus. And that's his job. He's actually named Saul, and if you read the Bible, it's in there that Saul was one of the soldiers that put Jesus to death. So he was the man who killed Jesus. And after Jesus was dead, he destroyed his religion, his teachings. He wasn't a religion, it was actually about space and civilization's down space. The little record was lost. And so they conserved what they thought they would, rather than what was true. Of course, I think they fully understood it, the people understood it at the time, but it got lost because they wanted to know. The Romans wanted people to believe they were more as they were, and they did all sorts of nasty things to people, like slavery and brain damage and so on. And they would be rewarded in some sort of afterlife. I think they had the same idea, and that was taught by the emperor. The emperor was God at that time. It's awful. So all these rubbish ideas come up. But that was recently, before that, the ancient Egyptians didn't have the people who worked for the emperor were well treated. And lived a good, happy life. So they thought they were doing wonderful work. Or doing a tomb for the emperor, one of the things. But I think the people who Imhotep, who started it, originally wanted palaces for the workers. He wanted to make a wonderful place. But the priest had decided to make him build a temple for himself when he died. That's all rubbish. And you read the ancient Egyptian, the story of Isis or Isis. There's two aliens who were married to each other, and they managed to get the bits of the body and put it back together again, basically. That's the story. It's a woman. but the aliens are saying they were not all of them are bisexual, the word sexual is my sexual marriage. Others have other ways of reproducing, and some don't have genitals and don't have guts and things like that, so they're different from us. And the food is still by the stomach if they have it, and they don't have sex organs because they reproduce from a queen. It's done differently. And ants, and we could go like that, because, but it has its disadvantage because it's not the genetic priority in the population. Human beings are polymorphic, so you get all sorts of different colours and shapes and things, but they're basically human. And some people are wiser than others. They've been poisoning me for years now. I don't know why. I haven't done anything. Don't know what I say. Don't know what I say at all. And, I think I did do something when I was young. But eventually I decided I imagined it. When you have a tumour in the brain, it makes you imagine things as well as do things. I think the record says no tranquility, but I always had a tumour in the brain. I was told later it was actually a nematode cyst had been removed, which obviously is less damaging the brain tumour. But it did damage my brain, and I was pretty sick for a long time. It took a long time to recover. Not that long, a few months actually, which is not too bad. But they kept poisoning me with drugs. I don't know why. It's the way they are. Because it's the religion, you see. If you don't believe Christianism, they poison you. And unless you join a religion that has a different, Muslims do in fact have that. It's unprotected. But it's there the law of superior force comes into that. And anyway, so it's a bad world. It's a bad world. It's about who's turn it on.